in one of the books, I think it's Hitchhikers, he says, the art of flying is to throw yourself at the ground and miss, right? And I thought this was very clever. But it dawned on me that the art of innovation is to throw yourself at failure and miss, right? If you're not bold enough to risk failure, and we do see a lot of people that pontificate so deeply around the pursuit of guaranteed success that they don't risk the potential of failure, and therefore have a very real possibility that they actually won't get going, that they won't find the vigor to pursue that goal. You know, that I've always felt that in critical order of importance for someone that is desiring a career in what we collectively do, what you do, what we do. Passion, first and foremost, what's in your heart. Enthusiasm, the ability to activate that passion into an action. You do meet a lot of people that are brimming with passion, and they'll tell you all about this aspiration, but they don't quite mechanize the ability to turn that passion into a journey. So passion, enthusiasm, and then tenacity. And I think those three things, the stickability of something, I think those three things are more important than talent, right? If you reverse it and put talent at the top, and we've hired people that are incredibly talented, but they've lost that passionate resolve and the grit necessary to stick by it. It's very easy to front up to a project such as Lord of the Rings for the first week, the first month, the first year, maybe even the first 2 years. But when you're 6.5 years into a 7.5-year journey and you're repetitively doing the same thing time and time again, and you can't quite see the end in sight, passion, enthusiasm, and tenacity suddenly become a very critical component. Yeah. So luckily, there are an abundant number of people in the creative industries that are born with grit. Yep. And that's a very thankful thing. Yeah.
Well, and I think in general, I mean, at least when I talk to students, a lot of their initial desire to get into this stuff is because they want to go work at Blizzard or Riot or someplace like Weta, and they want to chase the status at some, to some degree. And at some point they get it, and then they have to look beyond that to go and keep going. And I mean, I suspect that, like, it's for you, it's amazing to have worked on all these amazing projects and stuff, but a lot of people say that the payment of doing it is to be able to keep doing it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, just to be creative.
Yeah, and to me, the thing I love to make today is other makers. Yeah. I get huge enjoyment out of the fact that we've built an infrastructure that allows people to make making as a career. Right. I do have a deep concern that we're losing connection with the tactility of the planet. The fact that we're living in this vanilla-flavored future, that everything that we interface with is hard surface, IKEA-style interactions. Yet, as a organism upon the planet, we must at least keep some connection with craftsmanship. I very strongly believe that craftsmanship is the road markers that define a specific culture through history, that leave behind these extraordinary moments through history that point to the evolution of one's individual culture. And therefore, I take it as a high responsibility to try and keep our workshop in a craft-based endeavor so that we can offer people that opportunity to stay tactile and stay making and creating.
Yeah, and I think especially now, it's really like the further technology progresses, I think the easier it is to compare yourself to other people, or to lose the fear becomes bigger than the interest. With something like social media, you can look on Instagram and have, it's not like a real objective value thing, but if you see somebody with more followers, you might be like, oh, that person produces more value than me. Or with AI, AI can...
Yeah, it's very easy to be intimidated. Yeah. I myself, I'm an artist in my own right, and it's easy to be intimidated by the compendium of extraordinary art that is being made every day in the world. And I But you've got to get beyond that. You've got to know that your individualism can leave your own mark, and that's the mark that you're going to leave. So don't be too comparative. Don't always assess your capabilities against others. Just get on and do it.
Yeah.
There's no better way to start a job than just starting, of course. It's very obvious and very cliched. But I do see people that are frozen into inaction through their self-assessment and their observation of what others are doing. And I have very simple tenets in my life I use in my own life, my family life, my work life. And it just simply comes down to love of oneself, love of what you do, love of who you do it with, and love of who you do it for.
Yeah.
Right? If you can fit those 4 tenets, because if you don't love yourself, if you're not proud of who you are and you're doubting who you are, it's going to be very, very hard to love those around you and love what you do and love who you do it for. Like in your family life, you're doing it for your children, your partner, but in your working life, you're doing it for your colleagues, for the people that are your customers, the people you're attempting to entertain. And whether someone likes or dislikes the movie that you've worked on, you've got to know that you gave the craft within the movie every possible ounce of endeavor. And you've said a couple of times, Christian, the massive projects that you work on. In equal level to working on massive projects, we also work on very small projects, right? We will work on a sub $10 million feature film where our total budget may be $150,000.
Yeah.
And we will bring as much passionate resolve to that job as we might do if we're working on a massive budget production.
Yeah.
It's all relative to the quantity of work that you're doing within the project. And sometimes when you work on a low budget horror film, the thing that you've made may have proportionally a larger stake in the film. So you better deliver something to the best of your capability. And people go, oh, you must be the best in the world. We never, ever have pursued being the best in the world, but we want to be the best we can be in the world, right? And that there are phenomenal companies out there doing phenomenal things, and we're not trying to better what they're doing, but we're certainly trying to better ourselves in the pursuit of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the goal to stay focused on.